Bust it.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform. My name is Ait getting ready for politicians for the 2019 elections when we'll start seeing campaigns across the length and breadth of the country. Before the INEC blows the whistle, we are seeing some form of pseudo campaigns, rallies going on across the country. The president started it with his visits to some troubled states where a huge crowd came out to welcome him. We have not forgotten the big crowd in Taraba and Plateau State, just Plateau State, including Nasarawa. But the PDP responded over the weekend with this rally in Katsina, the president's home state, where also a huge crowd came out to attend that rally. Now begin to ask yourself these questions. Does a big crowd guarantee electoral victory? I saw a lot of members of the PDP bragging over the fact that they went to the president's state and they were able to pull such a big crowd, telling everybody who cared to listen that the president can no longer intimidate them with crowds. Before then, the president's visit attracted also big crowds. APC members were taking full advantage of it to say, this president has remained popular. You can't take it away from him. He is with the masses. But I sound out a note of warning. Crowds don't win elections. Popularity, they say, don't even translate to votes. You need to mobilize. You need to network. You need to work hard. You need to horse trade to ensure that your popularity, the huge crowd you see in rallies, turn to votes during election day. It's the same crowd, some will say, that you see in one politician's or political party's rally that will move over to the other. Some say they are bought, some others say they are paid money to be part of it. But whichever case it goes, the politicians and the parties, especially the two big ones, are getting ready for the big show come 2019. But like we all know, the bulk of the activities will be on in 2018. Big day for the ruling APC, All Progressives Congress. A National Executive Committee meeting of the party is scheduled for this Monday. It has to come early because later on in the day, the president will be flying down to the United Kingdom to attend the Commonwealth Health of Government meeting a week ago. We were told by his spokesperson in a release yesterday that part of the reason the president is traveling early is to hold a meeting with the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Theresa May, and the CEO of Shell Petroleum Development Company. So the president will just have to attend that meeting before he goes. The next meeting of the APC is expected to come out with dates for the National Convention of the party. Members of the National Convention Planning Committee will hear that the different interests within the APC are already positioning to put in their trusted men and allies into those committees. My name is Ait, and my colleagues are here with me. Uju Eje is in the house.
Well, Amici, this is one NEC meeting that will go a long way in determining whether the APC would retain its current strength. And we hear that some of the pro-Oyego governors are yielding ground. Remember I said last week, I said when the president, who is the main leader of the party, has spoken, let me see the man who will stand and say, no, Mr. President, you can't have your way. At least not in these times when party supremacy appears to have been whittled a bit. So it's one very, very key NEC meeting, and I hope that they will be able to speak with one voice so that they can really get down to business, because they have a whole lot of work to do. If they are going to hold congresses and then the convention before the main elections, they had better be in one accord and do it fast.
The song within the APC has moved from whether the National Working Committee's tenure should be extended by 1 year to who will become the next party chairman. A convention is inevitable. Some members of the party are not comfortable coming too close to election. But some names are coming up. Adams Oshemole is strongly being tipped. Will Oyegu recontest? And Ebri is another name that is springing up. Shola Jaisimi is with us in the studio.
Well, Clement Ebri, the governor of Cross River State in the aborted Third Republic. I know he led a political party before now, can't remember the name exactly, but now, like we have said, he's a member of the APC. Will Clement Ebri and Adams Oshomole, will they come out as clear candidates for this position? NEC will meet today, we will see the way forward.
Former governor, Oyegu is a former governor during the aborted Republic. Same with Clement Ebri.
Exactly.
Shemole is a former governor. Mustafa Mohammed, likely a battle of former governors.
Of course, some of these names were flaunted by different, interests, and it made some governors during this previous meeting very angry, including alleged nomination of convention committees. How can you nominate people from our state without letting us know? They felt belittled. And of course, as regards to the crowd pulled by Shema and others, I've always said on this platform that those who voted for APC because of General Buhari in the last general election, not all of them were APC members. They had their reasons not to vote for the candidate of their political parties. And it seems everyone is now answering his father's name. I told you I traveled last week from Abuja to Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara to Sokoto. I've not been seeing the president's posters. What I have been seeing...
Because he has not declared and it's not time to be spread.
No, the question is you don't need to declare. I mean, you had your supporters. Where are the Baba posters? Where are the Baba stickers? All I've been seeing...
person of posters will violate the INEC.
No, we always had stickers of those we admired in our cars, in our taxis, shops, and what.
Or maybe you mean plain posters.
Plain posters.
I will say 2019 president.
Yes, and all I was seeing was either Atiku or Konkoso. The Konkosia red caps were everywhere. The truth of the matter is people are becoming more informed. People will make valid choice, especially with their PVCs now. A lot of people don't have to make, noise.
What about billboards? Were you seeing billboards?
I saw only one billboard, but that one is expensive. You don't expect, you don't expect a lot of the electorate to be, putting up billboard. But I'm telling you, whether we like it or not, the campaign for 2019 election has started.
Ehebe Aneabu is a journalist and technically a politician. And when you talk of campaigns, you fit into the bill. A professional journalist, trained as a journalist, practiced journalism, but was sucked into the world of politics. Is the Chief Press Secretary to Delta State Governor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Amechi. The use of this word technically is gaining ground on daily basis since they said Boko Haram was technically defeated. You don't know what, so the use of that word technically is
you're uncomfortable with it.
It's quite debatable. Well, thank God, even the job I'm doing while mingling with the politicians is strictly a media-related job. But when you look at the issue of politics, without apology to our listeners, I do say good morning. When you take a look at the issue of politics, it's a game of number. It has always been a game of number. It is either you need the number for bragging rights for the purpose of intimidating your opponents. And so if you go to a place and you have a large crowd following you, whether they are going to vote for you or not, you first of all appropriate that crowd. Say, yes, you can see my followers. You can see the number of people who are following me, that it means I'm popular. And to a very large extent, large crowd, if you allow politics to flow properly, has some form of correlation with those who vote. You recall, even in 2015, the later end of 2014, and then 2015, you saw the crowd that anywhere that President Muhammadu Buhari visited then as a candidate of the APC, it was always much more than that of the ruling party, except we want to lie to ourselves. Even anyway, because in elections, it's not only money that funds the interest of those who vote. There are those that are funded by anger, that Mr. A did not give us what he promises. So even if they don't like Mr. B, and Mr. B did not even give them money, that anger against Mr. A,
they have been sufficiently
funds their interest. So when you see those who are angry are actually much more committed. Like you said, also crossing a little to this side, I have also been able to see that it's not all the time that there are those you give money. When they are sufficiently angry, the money you give them will not even replace.
They'll use it to work against.
Will not even replace that anger. If they believe that you have performed so woefully and that over the years they have formed an opinion, even when you bring that money, except you start changing over time, apart from bringing that money, you start changing to first of all address that anger. If you don't address that anger, money will not be sufficient to address that anger on the day of voting, except of course they are not sufficiently angry.
The issue of crowd, it can be two ways. We saw during the last state election, governorship election in your state, Anambra, we saw huge crowd, large crowd everywhere the PDP went. Let me just use, and a lot of the people that were at the last rally of the PDP that had a tumultuous crowd actually voted against the party because they said the candidate was imposed. And of course, I think that's one of the major reasons that the PDP lost, because the PDP had no business losing that election for that. So people have a way, and we have also seen, if you use Lagos State as an example, where I recall the time of the AD and the PAC, when the AD was split in two and the Gani Daud faction came up with a PAC. I recall that the AD, which had the state machinery and some good money, you know, they were sending crowds to PAC rallies. And those people were so happy that they still had the crowd with them, they were doing well. Those crowds were being sponsored by the AD. At the end of the day, it was a woeful performance. So even the opposition groups or your opponents can send crowds to make you feel so comfortable you think you're riding high, only to deflate you at the polls.
Well, it's a voting day that we will get to find out the results. Like the old NP and NPP days, there's this saying in old Anambra, impossible to call it. It's during the voting day that the hen will come home through, so okay. Crowd or no crowd. But they are still part of the game. Like Yedu said, it confers bragging rights on those that take advantage.
Like you are saying at the moment, PDP saying we'll have it and APC saying we'll have it.
We'll have even a better crowd. Let's take your views and comments on our mail segment. Please go ahead.
It's the mail segment, and I'm Amaka Okoro.
I am a technical, you're welcome.
We'll begin with a mail from Shaibu Abdullahi, who writes us from Ijukwe in Abuja, and he writes on the state of the nation. The mail reads, in 1999, when democracy returned, Nigerians thought things will be done differently from the ways of the military regimes. But unfortunately, the masses watched the political powers being circulated by these same military leaders who claim to have democratic knowledge to govern us, and their influences play greater roles in all the political activities in Nigeria. Today, things are still not getting normal. As expected, unemployment is on the increase, there is general insecurity in the land, and our existing infrastructure is getting decayed. But despite all these facts, with existing proofs and evidence, Nigerian politicians continue to sell fake manifestos to us. Their campaigns are full of empty promises. Their ambitions are more of personal interest, while the masses continue to face hardship. Dear Nigerians, the campaign for 2019 general elections will soon start, and our politicians will come to you with their empty promises. Tell them what you need in your various communities, and also get ready to hold them responsible if they fail to provide these basic amenities. Let us behave wisely. This is democracy, and the power belongs to us. We must all get our voter cards ready and decide wisely on who to vote for. Finally, the Nigerian youths must not allow themselves to be used by desperate politicians to cause political instability, because we do not have another place to call home.
And Hakim Kazim in Lagos State is reacting to the looters list. He says, now that the race for 2019 has started in earnest, Nigerians are now being bombarded and harassed by all shenanigans who claim to love us more than themselves. We are now in the season of exchange of looters list. Very shameful indeed. 3 years into its tenure, the government suddenly emerged with wishy-washy list of treasury looters instead of strengthening and allowing relevant institutions to do the rigorous and due diligence in prosecuting alleged treasury looters and let them have their dates in the court. Is this the way to fight corruption? By grandstanding and playing to the gallery or media trial? Let us fight corruption the Chinese, Brazil, and South Korea way and stop deceiving ourselves. Please let this administration get serious. Anyone found looting public treasury should be jailed and banned from holding public office, either by election or appointment. We still have Babachir Lawa, Rashid Maina, NHIS and NIE corruption matters hanging or buried. This is the least it can do if the government is serious about fighting corruption. God bless Nigeria. That's it on the mail segment. Keep your mails coming. Send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Just over the weekend, two very important developments. The chairman of PDP, Uche Secondus, is instituting a case against Alhaji Mohammed, Minister of Information, over his the inclusion of his name in the looters list, alleged looters list, and Chief Aleo Dopesi also, through his lawyer Michael Zekome, writing to the same Minister of Information, demanding 500 million naira in compensation and publication of apology and retraction of that, the publication of the alleged looter list in 4 national dailies. If, of course, does not do this, it promises that they will get to court to take the matter from there. We expect more lawsuits in the days to come, and it's going to be a big battle between the federal government and the individuals whose name appeared on it. But let's start from the All Progressives Congress, APC, a very important meeting for the party this morning, and we have on the telephone line with us Magaji Muazu, a member of the ruling party. Muazu Magaji, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Good morning.
So it's a big day for the APC. This NEC meeting, we have not seen it for a long time. Now we are seeing a flurry of meetings. National Working Committee meeting, National Executive Committee meeting, one held not too long ago. It appears events and activities are beginning to peak within your party.
Yes, indeed. As you are aware that the APC as the party is facing a very critical decision. First, what to do with the national executives, and second, how to approach the 2019 election. I think there is already a very big problem in the room. We are taking a step that has locked us in the corner. And if we don't carefully handle that crisis, that's the crisis of what to do with the current ESCO and how to organize a transition within the short period of time, then the chances of 2019 will be greatly jeopardized. And that is why you see there is so much concern. There's a flurry of activities. And beyond that, there are also interest groups that are just there to control the party for eventual outcome of the 2019 election. That is what I believe is dictating all the movements around the party as you see today.
Initially, the party didn't want to hold this convention, but it appears you're headed towards a convention. The fear is that problems arising from it may be too big to manage within this short period before election. Now we are going to have convention. You mentioned about the crisis, the different interest groups within your party. How will this all play out in the days and weeks and months to come?
Well, the truth of the matter is that the party itself is just a young party. It's maturing, and people are learning on the ropes. And what that means is that both the people in power and the party active participants who are in church have no much experience in management of democratic institutions. Initially, people want election and they think that is it, and they can actually get whatever they want because they are in power. But as the election approaches, the realization is now on everybody that there are institutions of democracy which is represented by the political platform, and it has to be managed in accordance with the constitutions of that party. And I think it is that realization that is now putting fear in the mind of many political actors. And I am very, very sure that correcting this will definitely have consequences.
Now, Muazu,
The initial mistake that was done, and correcting it will always have consequences.
we've been hearing how strong the governors in the APC and then what they want to do as regards to tenure elongation and who gets what. And then we are now talking about party supremacy. Do you think the party would be able to eventually suppress the whims and caprices of the state governors, and of course some of the people who are referred to as party leaders wanting to, you know, nominate members of the convention without actually taking recourse to the state governor's original party office. How do that augur well for you know, the party for the 2019 elections?
What I can tell you is that APC is an association. It has its principles. And unfortunately, the history of democracy in Nigeria has shown that when people are in power, they control lifestyle and things of life. The damage done to democracy in recent times was that the party was ignored and abandoned, and therefore was not strengthened to exercise its constitutional status. And therefore, what is happening?
Abandoned by who?
Abandoned by the leadership. There is an arrangement every time after election on how people who won the election under a political party will nurture that party to strengthen internal democratic systems so that the party will become the motherboard of future transition. Once people won the election after 2016, the APC was abandoned. It was not budgeted.
So some also said the president abandoned the party that brought him to power. I've heard some APC members who said, as far as they were concerned, the president was just working with only CPC members, that the others were edged out and not given a fair share of the success of that election.
And that is true, because today that is coming back to haunt the president himself. He is actually dancing back and forth in what to do with the party. We are clearly witnessing a situation where functions will emerge within the APC and they have already crystallized. The governors are on one side, the president has begged to come back after what he has said to him, believing that the president has now power, he can do whatever he wants, and abandon his partners. Now he's taking that, but in conditions. The governors are also giving them conditions. The party ESCO will not go on the fight. And so it will be a lot of bucks in the APC. And if they are not careful, the House will collapse on that.
So, Magaji, what's your level of optimism ahead of this neck?
Well, I believe that Nigeria has come a long way. 1999, democracy has come to stay. If APC makes a mistake, something will spring up. Nature across a vacuum. If we get our acts together, we might just be in the time to gain the confidence of the citizens, especially as we present to them for 2019, both as presidential materials and other elections. And if we get our act together and commit ourselves to true democratic practice, we might be able to just narrowly get away with this. But this is a landing point for all of us as Democrats that we must concentrate our love to for us, and we must not abuse and underrate.
You said earlier that the president, abandoned the party and was dealing with only members of the CPC, and that's part of the problems within the party. Now, is it not reassuring now that the same president has taken the initiative to strengthen the party ahead of the elections?
Look, every politician knows when you are needed to help the country or when you are needed to get back to power. At this material time, whatever the president does will be interpreted by any practical politician as his desire to get back to power. Let's look at it this way. If you are abandoned for 3 years and just in an election year you are called from and all sorts of appeasement is extended to you, the interpretation is simple. The president wants to get back to power, and what happens after he gets back to power? Every politician will reflect on this. There are lessons to be learned here. And I'm afraid that, yes, the president is the president, and everybody would like to be in his good book. But politicians don't forget things easily.
Okay.
So the president needs to tread carefully and handle this with wisdom.
We have to thank you so much, Mwazo Magaji, a member of the APC, for your perspectives.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You do. APC is going through what PDP went through. In 2017, we remember the PDP convention. After that convention, there was a splinter group, but the efforts were made to placate them and they were brought back to the fold of the party. But it didn't
There's a
prevent
faction of it that is still remaining.
as we speak.
I think history and social justice may likely forgive politicians if they decide to shy away from the truth. But I'm very, very happy that Magaji decided to largely stay with the truth. But of course, you know why he's able to do so. Because I think he may belong to the Kwankwasia group. And so in which case, he's in a position to be able to put issues the way they are. You do recall
one of the groups that appear not
one
to
of
be
the groups
very
that are not at
happy
home
with
with the president,
state
yes. We do recall that shortly after the emergence of the president, after he was elected, the crack between the Tinubu group and the leadership of the party, particularly headed by Odigi Oyegu, widened. And at that early time, the Tinubu group wanted the man to leave. But the president was able to sustain him even when he was not able to carry the other officials in the party along. That was why for a very long time, the APC headquarters was almost overgrown with some form of weeds even on the building.
And they were
because they couldn't hold any serious meeting. That was also responsible for even when Lai Mohammed was appointed the minister. It became difficult for them to even have a spokesman. The deputy, Frank, was not elevated to become the spokesperson of the party because of these differences. For these differences, they were not able to hold any meeting. The last convention they had was the one that produced the president in 2014, that made him a candidate of the party. Since that time, they have not been able to hold any other convention. And not long ago, they started holding because it became obvious that they don't have a choice. They started holding meetings, just like Magaji rightly pointed out. And the fact is that this crack has become so wide that the president need to give, in terms of a lot of things that have happened. He actually abandoned the party.
He was forced to play the role he refused to
now
play. The leader of
and one of the reasons is that those who were very close to the president did not trust the Tinubu group. They believed that the Tinubu group was quite powerful, and they were not even comfortable with Tinubu being called a national leader of the party. They wanted to be able to take away power.
Some of them questioned that.
They wanted to take away power from that group, but they discovered that that group was quite rooted in the superstructure of the party. So it was not easy. Even when the governors, let me tell you, before the governors of the party came to a NEC meeting and endorsed an extension of tenure for Oyegu and his group, there is no way the president would say that he was not consulted. But shortly after they did that, if you ask me, they realized that they seriously progressed in error. And that the Tinubu group went to Lagos, even without Tinubu attending the meeting, and kicked against it. And you know that for the APC school in Lagos, to say no, of course, you know it's the relationship between the what's it called, the witch that cried the night and the people that died in the morning.
The fact that the president has lost Atiku Abubakar, the president has lost Bukola Saraki. These were all the people that provided support in 2015. The president has lost IBB, he has lost Kwankwaso, partially not. Kwankwaso has not openly come out to admit it, but you can see that he's working, he's on his own, oiling his own machinery. The president has lost OBJ. Tinubu remains his major his major backbone.
Particularly in the Southwest, because when you talk about the APC, you talk about the Southwest. The Southwest, the APC is very powerful there, and if the APC loses Tinubu totally with the kind of influence that he wields in the Southwest, then that might be disastrous for the party.
And that's why the president is trying to ensure that he has Asiwaju Bola Ahmed on his side.
Of course, places like Mina, Kogi, Nasarawa, Taraba, Gombe, have all been lost because of the crisis brewing, ethnic and whatever. A lot of people who felt the president have not taken the necessary steps.
Well, let's see what the president can do within this short period. As the president and the leader of the party, he can still spring surprises. Who knows?
After all, if you lose a thing, you go searching for it. So the president is searching for those things he has lost.
We'll keep you abreast of these issues as they develop. Thank you so much for being part of the program today. Let's see you again tomorrow. My name is Ait.
Busted.